Hiya, hiya. Is this a good day to have an award show? I think we're not through grieving the Academy Awards. When are we going to be on that? I mean, this is like someone in the family dies and you have to wait until everybody gets through the feelings part of it. I don't think anybody has ever said in all of the discussions and all of the greedia, I call it the media greedia, no one has ever said, we shouldn't do this anymore. You know, when you have something that fails, I've had a lot of promotions in my life on the radio and television, and when something doesn't work or there's a bad crowd or it's got a sour note to it, we don't do it anymore. Some people try to emulate, they try to do Woodstock again, and that doesn't work. That was organic. When things happen on their own, they usually are very successful. But when you plan all of these things and plan them no matter what, I mean, you know, we have had all theatrical releases and they put them on television. You know, you heard me talk about that yesterday. So why do we have things that belong in the theater with a crowd that wants to vote for theatrical performances, and yet we insist on having a celebration? You know, I mean, you could tell after the other night that this was not the Nobel Peace Prize. You know, I mean, this is when you have a great achievement. I'm in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I got put in there years ago as a top jock, but I'm not in the Radio Hall of Fame because they have decided to not put me in there. Even my friend Art Volo, who's trying to get me in there every year, he wants me to get in there before I die. I guess I won't enjoy it after death, will I? But the Radio Hall of Fame it's political. You know, they want people to talk about it on the radio, so they want to incorporate people who are still active in the industry. So when you see, the purpose has been lost, and you have to repurpose. For instance, in the Radio Hall of Fame, there are not a lot of radio stations anymore that have personalities. We got rid of all of them with the conglomerate takeover of owning too many stations and syndicating. So now you got a couple of people who are being nominated for the Radio Hall of Fame, and everybody else can get going and do a podcast. It's a changing world that we live in, and the changing world in the motion picture business for the last 2 years has been streaming. So the awards show should actually be a streaming show. But that's besides the point. Someone has to get up and say, okay, you know, we don't need the Oscars anymore. Can you be brave enough to say that? Or that we don't need the Gimmes or the Grammys? We don't need that anymore. My friend Pierre Cassette from Canada created the Grammy Awards. And Dick Clark emulated them. You know, he did the pop award show that he put, the People's Choice, I think it was called, because he felt the people were not voting for the songs, but rather the industry was. So he came up with that idea. And you know, it's got way lost. The purpose is gone now. And then people get on the award shows and they start talking about what they're really interested in. Well, you know, leave that on the red carpet. If you want to talk about some charity or something that you're interested in, do it when you're being interviewed before the show and leave it at the door. The celebration should be about the award itself. That's why everybody's gathered. People are gathered to see, to look, to touch, to do. They want to see their favorite actors, their favorite stars, their favorite singers. They want to see their performers in another light and see what they're really like, try to get a little closer, get to know them better. More intimacy. And the intimacy does not come from people acting out. And it's become a business now of dollars, all the time, you know. And the black inclusion, which is very, very prominent these days, especially with the motion pictures having a great percentage of people being of color and those people being of other nationalities. You don't run a business based on someone's birthright. You run a business based on their talent. When that's what it is. It's the business of show, but it's become now, you know, a circus. And this is what happens when you're ill-equipped. I want to start a workshop for professionals so that we can learn sensitivity. Even they do that with the police, you know. And we need to do that with the professionals in the business. I want to do it at the Friars Club in New York. I want to start a place where we all sit down and we start to talk about what the audience's needs are and how they process information and the damage that we might do if we mislead them. That's just subject matter, you know. I mean, there is an emotional piece, but there also is the responsibility. And when you are given much, then you have to give a lot. It's a philosophy, but it's also true. You know, I mean, most people in show business want acceptance. I want people to like me. I want people to watch me. I want people to buy something. It's acceptance. That's what it is. Maybe you didn't have it in your childhood. Maybe you'll never have it. But you want to have that love. You want to have that nurturing. You want to have somebody acknowledge your work and say, hey, you know, I'm here. I really count. Like Black Lives Matter. That's what that's about. And so, you know, we have this whole need for every one of us has that. We have something in common. You know, I mean, I think these award shows got to be repurposed. And, you know, don't become a member of the Ungrateful Dead. It's a Reynolds Wrap.